Recently, it so happened here in Vrindavan a few days back, I was talking to some people who were visitors to our temple. And they asked one interesting question. I tried to answer them because they were just young, fresh people. And I tried to answer them. But then later on, I was thinking about it. It was a very interesting question. A smart fellow, a smart young boy, he asked. I mean, he didn't ask like this, but then I was analyzing his question, and then there was something interesting in that. Why is Krishna against our sense gratification? Why can't Krishna allow, let enjoy senses? And also be a devotee of mine. Of course, there is a stage that's called Sakama Bhakti. Why is Krishna saying Nishkama Bhakti? Don't enjoy sense gratification. Vishaya chadiya kabe, shuddha habe mana. When will I give up all sense gratification? That's the desire of a devotee. Why? We cannot enjoy senses also. There's a serious reason. This devotee asked this young boy, not a devotee, he's a fresher, newcomer, new guest. He asked this question. And I tried to answer him. I told him, Adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramadi. These pleasures of the senses have a beginning and an end. It's a fact. The pleasures, adyantavantaha, adi antavantaha. And dukkha yonaya evate. And this pursuit of sense gratification leads to more and more miseries. Yes, it is a fact. This is Krishna's words. These are the characteristics of sense gratification. But there is another reason why. All these are truths. Krishna does not want us to be delighting in temporary pleasures. He wants to give us eternal pleasure. When the mother sees a child simply playing with the toys, and then the mother is telling, go do your homework. The child is not happy with the mother telling that. He is happy with. Then the mother becomes very upset. Go, take away the toys. She may take away the toys. Go and do your homework. Why is she cruel? Hey, what a mother she is. Child is enjoying nicely, having good time. Why is the mother coming and interrupting that good time of the child? How unkind this mother is. No, it's not true. My mother is very kind. The mother knows you won't be a child forever. You will grow up. You have to face the world. Go get educated. Right? That's the reason why mother tells. Go and do your homework. Go and do your studies. So mother is actually meaning good. In the same way, the Lord is saying, so why is it? So, remember this example Srila Prabhupada gives of a child which was going cranky, not sleeping. Mother is trying to put the child to sleep, and the child is so disturbed. Sometimes children become like that. And the mother is, sometimes in the house, it's warm. And so the mother took the child out of the house in the night and trying to make the child sleep. And then the mother, to distract the child, showed the moon. And now the child's crankiness turned in another way. She said, I want the moon. Became even more cranky. I want the moon. Sometimes it happens. And now the mother is thinking, what shall I do with this child? You see, when the child demands the moon, it is an unconstitutional desire. The child cannot possess the moon. The mother has no ability to pluck the moon out of the sky and give it to the child. It's simply not by, it's a huge, moon is a huge thing. The child can hold the moon. It's a huge space body, weighing thousands of tons. But the child is now demanding, I want the moon, I want the moon. So the father was watching all this, the wife going crazy, trying to put the child to sleep and all those. This. And so the intelligent fellow, the father, he took one mirror and he showed the mirror, moon in the mirror. Right? This is the example Prabhupada gives. And showed it to the child. And the child held the mirror and there was moon. Child became very happy. Now I got the moon. Actually, child did not get the moon. Child got a reflection of the moon. Child cannot get the moon. Father and mother cannot give the moon. It's not in their power. It's not in the power of the child. Right? And so the child became happy, pleased, holding the moon in his hand. Not holding the moon, holding the reflection of the moon. But he's thinking, now I got the moon. Here only it's in my hand now. And the child went to sleep. The next night, once again the child demanded, I want the moon in the mirror. I want the moon. And the mother and father knew now how to give the moon to this child. They brought a mirror. And once again the child was very pleased and went to sleep. And the child, as he grew up, he got into this habit of a moon in the mirror. Every night he wanted. And the child grew up and became an adult. But the habit continued. See, all of you are laughing, no? Now he is a 21-year-old young man. But every night he has to see the moon and hold the moon in his hand. You'll say, stupid, no? What's gone crazy with you? Now he is a 40-year-old responsible man. But he has to hold the moon in his hand every night. So stupid, isn't it? Why? Because he's not holding the moon in his hand. It's not possible. It's an illusion. And he's so deluded. It's crazy. And he's thinking, I have to hold the moon. You see how stupid it is? The pleasure he is deriving that I am holding the moon is stupid. It is not there. That is sense gratification. That's why Bhagavatam explains, Maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudha. It's a Maya sukha, illusory happiness. The pleasure of the senses and sense gratification is illusory. It has no substance. Just like this child, this baby. It has no substance. It's okay as a child, the child feels like that, and it's okay for a child. But when the child grows up, he's not expected to be like that. He's supposed to be a wise man. In the same way, it's okay. In lower species of life, you are attached to sense gratification. Your life revolves around sense gratification. It's understandable. But when you are a human being, atato brahma jigyasa, you must understand what is this truth all about. And hence, we should not be after illusory pleasures. Isn't it? That's the sense that Prabhupada conveys. Another example that Prabhupada gave was Vishaya vinirvartante niraharasya dehinaha param drishtva nivartante. Like a child, I'm sure all of us here, when we were small children, we were attached to some toys. And those toys gave us immense pleasure. And then when we grew up, we left those toys away. Imagine somebody has become a grown-up person and still attached to toys. Oh my God, what's wrong with him? We will think. Because the toy that the child fantasizes with the toy. Oh, I have this car. It's a nice car, you see. The car. Because the child has seen cars going. Now he's got a small toy car. And he's fantasizing. They have many toys and they fantasize with the toys. Right? And they live in that toy world for some time and trying to. That's okay for children. When we grow up, we can't be in a fantasized world. We have to come to the real world. That is what Krishna is saying. Can't be in the fantasized world. In a false, illusory world. That's Maya Sukhaya. And hence, Krishna is saying, come out of this. Because it's a Maya Sukha. It's an illusory pleasure. That is why the word used is Manasijam. This pleasure of the senses and the sense objects coming in contact, it's Manasijam. It's a creation of the mind. It's a mental makeup. Although there is no pleasure, I'm a man and there is a woman and the contact gives pleasure. It's all made up. So, Krishna wants us to grow out of this illusory pleasure and come to the point of real pleasure. Brahma Sukhanubhutya. There is a anubhuta experience of real pleasure that we are entitled to. So, everything has a relationship with Krishna. Everything in the universe. There is one person with whom everything is related and everyone is related. Such a person. And that person, he's a Purusha. And we all have a relation. But we are oblivious of that relation and we think it is okay in life. We can go on with our lives. This is the mistake of the living entities. You see, there is one more very nice expression in the Bhagavad Gita, which we were chanting all last few days, the last month, 5th chapter. 5th chapter, 7th verse. Very nice expression by the Lord and explained by Srila Prabhupada. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. Remember this we were chanting? Sarva bhutatma bhutatma. Why does it say Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma? What does it mean? So first of all, let us see. Yoga Yuktaha, situated in yoga, engaged in yoga. Yoga Yuktaha. Vishuddhatma, pure consciousness. Vishuddha Atma, soul. Vijitatma, Vishuddhatma, Vijitatma, Jitendriyaha. Vijita Atma, self-controlled. Jita Indriyaha, having conquered the senses. And then comes the word Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. What does this mean? Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. Prabhupada writes here, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma, compassionate to all living entities. It's a very nice expression. It's to be understood this way. Prabhupada explains in the purport. I'll read that also. Sarva Bhuta, it's that word, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma, has 3 words in it. We have to see it as 3 words. We have to break it into 3 words. Sarva Bhuta, Atma Bhuta, Atma. Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. Sarva Bhuta, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. Atma Bhuta and Atma. Sarva Bhuta, Bhutatma and Atma. Atma means a person, soul, a living entity. Mahatma hai. We say, a great person you are. So in the same way, the last Atma is in terms of as a person. The person who is Sarva Bhuta, Bhutatma, Atma. You get that sense? Sarva Bhuta, Bhutatma, Atma. Sarva Bhutatma, Bhutatma, Kurvanna Pinalipyate. So a person who is Sarva Bhuta, Bhutatma. Bhutatma, Sarva Bhuta means all living entities, very simple. Everyone can understand that. Sarva Bhuta, Bhutatma, Atma. A person who is Bhutatma of all Sarva, of all Bhuta, of all living entities. A person, Atma, who is Atma Bhuta of Sarva Bhuta, of all living entities. Now this Atma Bhuta has 2 meanings. One is to have affection for. Just like Atma Bhuta. To have Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma. Someone who has affection and feeling for all living entities. It also has the sense to feel all others as oneself. We all like ourselves very much, right? So one feels the same way for everyone. That is why you see how Prabhupada begins the purport. First sentence. One who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is dear to him. Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma means exactly this. Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma. Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma. All living entities are dear to him, and he is dear to all living entities. See that sense? That's why Prabhupada begins the purport in that way. Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma. Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma. In both the senses. Every living entity is dear to him, and every living entity is dear to him, and he is dear to everyone. Because a person, and next Prabhupada explains, this is due to his Krishna consciousness. You see, when you become conscious of Krishna, that original consciousness, if we develop this state, Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma and Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma. In both sense, such a person we will become. Why? This is due to his Krishna consciousness. Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna, just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree. He knows very well that by pouring water on the root of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and branches, or by supplying food to the stomach, the energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all. He is very dear to everyone. He works for everyone and he is dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness, etc. Vishuddhatma. Prabhupada is discussing Vishuddhatma next. So, there is an original consciousness, and that in that original consciousness, pure state of consciousness, we are conscious of our situation, our constitutional situation. That we have all come from Him. We are maintained by Him. We are His Amsha. We are meant to serve Him. This is what our constitution is, our composition is. And that is the way we are made. And the Lord planned this for His pleasure. Just like a father has a few children. Because he's thinking, now with the children, with my wife, I will have a nice life. In the same way, the original father became many. Ekoham bahushyama. Bahusyama. He was one, he became many for his pleasure. Now when we say he was one and he became many, it gives a sense that there was a time he was alone, and then at one point he decided, and then he became many, and we all came into existence. No. We were also eternal. He is also eternal. Eko nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam. There are two kinds of living entities. One, both are eternal. One is the giver and the provider, and the other is the taker and the receiver. We belong to the second category. Krishna, Vishnu, Rama, Nrsimha, they belong to the first category. These are the two categories of living entities. This is the reality. The innumerable living entities, because they are meant to serve Him and give Him pleasure. And when we give Him pleasure, automatically our hearts get filled with pleasure. Just like when we put the food in the stomach, whole body is energized. Just like when we are fasting sometimes, we feel weakness. And then, end of fast. Now go have feast. Then we eat. Whole body is energized. Because we are connected to the stomach. Whole body is connected to the stomach through the system, anatomy. The stomach absorbs all the nutrients, and then blood takes it to the different parts of the body, energizes all tissues, all organs. Every part of the body becomes energized. So then in this way, there is Lord and everything, both animate and inanimate. Para prakriti and apara prakriti. All of them are His prakriti. And when He is pleased, para prakriti, apara prakriti, all are energized. This is the principle. Not knowing this, maya sukhaya bharam udvahato vimudhan. Bharam udvahato. Udvahata. Bharam means carrying a big burden. We all carry burden. This is my duty. All duty is defined on the basis of an illusion. I'm man. I belong to this country. I belong to this family. I belong to this society, etc., etc. Bharam udvahato. And udvahata means making grand arrangements in illusion for pleasure. You see? Grand arrangements. The world is full of grand arrangements. For a maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. Such a person is a vimudha, a fool. And why he has become vimudha? Vimukachetasaha. Turned away from Krishna. Instead of having that original consciousness as being conscious of Krishna, he has become forgetful of Krishna, and he is thinking, I have an independent existence, and so I can seek pleasure independently. I can exist independently. I can get knowledge independently. This is an arrangement that Krishna has given us because we wanted to forget Him. This is the understanding. So these are all very beautiful concepts. The Bhagavatam teaches, the Bhagavad Gita teaches, and very beautifully explained by Srila Prabhupada. We'll stop here. Anyone has any questions, I'll try to answer. Yes. Yeah.
So, in the verse from the Bhagavad Gita that you had quoted, very nicely it is mentioned that Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. So, in this case, I just wanted to, I had a confusion or doubt in this. So, living a living entity, a devotee is compassionate towards all living entities. So, how do we display our compassion towards a human, or a jiva who is a human who has intelligences by preaching them? And in case of living entities that are mute, who don't have the intelligence to act based on somebody's preaching or something, how do we show the compassion, or how is the compassion shown? A devotee, how has...
Two ways we can show compassion. Remember in the soulful japa quotes that come up in the temple? Maybe next few days you are here, you see. Prabhupada says, if we chant loudly Hare Krishna mantra, even lower species, living entities in the lower species get the benefit. Because it's a transcendental vibration. It can touch them. They can get benefit. The second way we give benefit is to give them Krishna prasadam. If you have dog, cats, give them Krishna prasadam. There are birds, offer food and give the Krishna prasadam to the birds. Let them eat. They're coming in touch. So we can show compassion to them in this way.
Follow up to this. Sometimes we also face trouble because of certain animals, like the minnows of mice or the mosquitoes. So in such cases, out of defense, we generally kill the animals, or
we may avoid as much as possible, but it's okay to kill also. Because in the you see, we have to be a little bit more pragmatic in all these matters. So Shastras say, an atatayinaha, atatayi means an aggressor. An aggressor has to be killed. That's the principle. Because he is disturbing the peaceful existence of the world. And there are many kinds of aggressors. Somebody who sets fire to someone's house, he's an atatayi. Somebody who kidnaps someone's wife, he's an atatayi. And somebody who takes away someone's kingdom, he's an atatayi. You see, Ravana was an atatayi. That's why Ram went and killed him. Pandavas, their situation was the Kauravas, they had taken away their kingdom. They had set their house on fire. They're atatayinaha. And that word atatayina comes in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna uses that. They are aggressors and they deserve to be killed. So, it's permitted in that sense for human safety. Like say for instance, somebody sees a sarpa, a snake, a poisonous snake. It's advised that you can kill. You know that story? Srila Prabhupada went to Gaudiya Math. And Prabhupada had gone to the Gaudiya Math, and I don't know where it was, maybe Prayag, or Ahmedabad, or Mayapur, or Calcutta, I don't know where it was. So Prabhupada had gone, very early stage, he was Grahastha at that stage, he had gone to Gaudiya Math. And somewhere he was talking to some devotees in the ground floor, and they suddenly spotted a snake, and the snake came. And devotees were all disturbed. Then they were looking around what to do. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was in the upper floor somewhere. He came to the balcony, he saw, and he gave an order. Kill the snake! And the devotees brought a stake and banged it and killed it. And so Prabhupada said, he was a young, why Guru Maharaj gave order to kill the snake? It's also living entity. He was thinking, but then very soon he came across a verse in the Bhagavatam where the Bhagavatam says living entities like scorpions and snakes should be killed, will be killed even by saintly persons. There is a verse like that. Because they create disturbance in the human society. They come under they can be killed. The Shastras allow. So like that. Okay, we'll stop here. One more last question. Madhur Murli has raised his hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Like you were mentioning that some visitor asked you why Krishna is against sense gratification. One more common question which we get, like when we fast, like we are a bit starving, so how Krishna is pleased with our fasting?
Okay. You see, Prabhupada explains this in the purport, Bhagavatam purport. What happens when we fast? When we fast, there's no food in the stomach. We're feeling weak. We're feeling hungry, hunger pangs. Right? And we are craving for food. But no, it's a vow. It's a vrata. You can't go to the prasadam hall, there won't be any prasadam. And you can't hide and eat, somebody will see you. Hey, what are you doing? No such thing is permitted in our society, in our community. So at that time, when we fast, it enables us to develop a realization. I can be happy even when the body is suffering. I don't have to depend on the body. Because right now, our attachment to body's pleasure is cementing and reinforcing our misunderstanding that I am the body. So fasting is an opportunity to detach ourselves from the body and understand and experience. I can have pleasure. I can be happy even without the body being happy. And hence it helps us to come out of the bodily conception of life. This explanation Srila Prabhupada gives. And that's why we are coming out of illusion. The man who has become a grown-up man, but he's still holding a moon in the mirror. And now he decided, I think I should give up the moon in the mirror. Everybody will be happy, no? Wow. Now some sense is coming to him. Or a man who is a grown-up man, is still attached to toys. He decides, now I will give up toys. Good. Something good happening at last. We'll feel good. In the same way, the Lord is in full knowledge. He is thinking, why are they after illusory pleasure? They should come to me. Be with me. I made them for my pleasure, for their pleasure. That's why when Prabhupada explains this, Mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashrashtani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. One meaning of the word karshati is struggle. Krishna is seeing they are my amsha, but they are prakriti sthani karshati. They are situated in the material world and they are struggling. Krishna is very sorry about it. The living entity is suffering here. See? And so when the living entities, by performing austerities, they're coming out of illusion, Krishna is pleased. They're coming out of it. If a man has become obsessed with his role, I'm a king, the drama is over, but still he's saying, I'm the king. What to do with him? Take him to your doctor, and the doctor gives him some slowly, I am not the king. That is dawning on him. We feel good. He's getting cured. Don't worry, in a few more days, he'll give up all his king craziness. In the same way, right now we are crazy about our body. And so when we are trying to come out of bodily consciousness and come to reality, Krishna is pleased. We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki, Shri Nitai Gauranga ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Nitai Go Premanande.